Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks. It's Sunday, the 21st of February, and another lockdown news roundup. And let's take a look at the Sunday newspapers in the UK. Today, they are full of headlines of how Boris is offering all adults the jab by July. Let's take a look at them. First, we have this front page. Jabs for all adults by July and free by summer. This is like I was saying the other day, the offer of freedom. You'll notice at the top of the front page it says NHS to vaccinate all over 50s by April the 15th. As if that's a given, as if everyone over 50 is going to want a jab. It's like saying it as a statement of fact. NHS to vaccinate all over 50s. And then it says bigger bold writing, jabs for every UK adult and freedom by summer. So it's obviously creating the image of the jabs being the route to freedom. But you know, your freedom is a natural right. Civil liberties are the rights or freedoms which underpin democracy. But here they're implying that you're not free and your only way to freedom is the jab. Again, this is coming from another leak, supposedly from another announcement that's coming tomorrow. All of these newspapers, they've all got the same leak, all at the same time. It's basically a big government advert on the front page. That's what it is. Then we have the same in the Sunday Telegraph, with the carrot on offer of the holidays in the headline. And then of course we see over on the other side, we've got Prince, the great Reset Charles, who went to visit Prince Philip in hospital yesterday. You'll notice he didn't have too much of a problem visiting someone in hospital. You'll find that 99% of the rest of the population don't find visiting relatives in hospitals at the moment an easy objective to achieve, but he didn't have a problem. Oh look, would you believe another newspaper, and it's the same headline. Again, this one leaves out the offer part in the headline. All adults jabbed by end of July. Again, let's recorrect that headline. It should read all adults offered jab by end of July. They can't be jabbed if they don't accept the offer. So to state all adults jabbed is incorrect. It seems the mainstream media, they are trying to create an illusion of the jab being mandatory when it isn't. So what else do we have in the Sunday newspapers? All these newspapers, you know, they're supposed to be independent, aren't they? So they can't all have the same front page, surely, with the same message. That wouldn't be right. That would be too much of a coincidence. Oh, look, new hope for summer, all jabbed by July. Again, this is the Mirror. The way it's worded, you'd think it was mandatory. All these newspapers with the same headline. It makes you wonder, do you think that maybe all the mainstream press is controlled by one entity in order to control and manipulate the public's minds? What do you think? And then we have the Sunday People. Again, free by summer. Isn't this sort of coercion or incentivization, which many people, including the British Medical Journal, have said is not the right way to go about things? They state that if you want the public to be vaccinated, then it should be done by persuasion, by the use of facts and logic. And yet their form of persuasion seems to be, do this if you want your freedom. I mean, that's pretty clear. This is what they are implying in all of these front pages. You can have your freedom if you all get the jab. And yet this conflicts with messages sent out by the Bill Gates funded sage scientists over the last couple of weeks, who have been saying that lockdowns are going to continue in some way, shape or form until next year, just a week ago. I don't know about you, but I'm under the impression that the media and the government are really eager for everyone to get this jab. Look at these syndicated headlines across all of these tabloids. It all seems very forced. I mean, seeing that the majority of the public, as stated by the UK sage scientists themselves, they've stated that the majority of the public without underlying health conditions, if contracting the virus, will only get mild symptoms or are asymptomatic. With that in mind, isn't this obsession with giving everyone the jab, that a jab that's using new technology and something that hasn't been tested for long-term effects, isn't this a bit reckless of these people in power to be suggesting that? It's a bit like a pushy salesman, a car salesman, but instead of you going to the car showroom and looking at the cars, and then the car salesman comes over to you and tries to persuade you to buy a car, this is more like you're walking along the street, minding your own business. There's a car showroom on the other side of the road. Car salesman comes out of the showroom, crosses the road and stops you in the street and tells you need to buy a car. But you're not looking to buy a car and you've got one at home. But this salesman refuses to let you pass until you buy a car. It's a bit like that, is it not? It's not just the UK. Look at the USA. Here in Vulture magazine, this article. The biggest shot in Hollywood, every A-lister wants a COVID vaccine, but are they willing to get cancelled for it? And just look at this image going along with the article. I mean, just look at this. We've got a sign up at the bottom saying, vaccine here, and a long queue of people all eager to get the jab. And they want to get into what looks like a Hollywood fish tank with a swimming pool with people swimming in it, which has a syringe that is filling the pool up with all of that jib-jab goodness. What the hell is this all about? So are they saying that the Hollywood celebrities are in the pool and the people in the queue, just your normal peasants, are outside and they're jealous, they want in, and that's why there's a crack in the glass? Because they are so impatient to dive into the jib-jab swimming pool? It's an interesting bit of propaganda. So it's interesting, in the UK, it's get the jab so you can get your freedom back, so you can go on your summer holidays, while in the USA the dynamic is different. The situation isn't quite the same as in the UK, so they are going down the Hollywood A-list route and saying that Hollywood stars are desperate to get the jab, but they're scared of upsetting all of the normal people and getting cancelled. As it says here in the article, everyone in Hollywood wants immunity, and lots of people are looking into what it would take to get it, but they are also terrified of potential public shaming. And then we have Israel. I've seen politicians continually citing Israel as being the way to go. And here we see in the BBC, Israel eases restrictions following vaccine success. From Sunday shops, libraries and museums can open, but social distancing and masks are still required. Of course they would. The health ministry says it is the first stage of returning to normal life. So again, this doesn't make any sense to me. So let's say you're in Israel. You've gone and got your jab. You've signed up for your green badge vaccine passport, which then allows you into, say, for example, into a cinema, shall we say, and then everyone else who is in that cinema with you, they have all had the jab. They've all got their green passport. That's allowed them all to be in the cinema with you in Israel. So you're all there in the cinema in Israel, all jib-jabbed up, all with your vaccine passports, and yet you still have to wear masks and socially distance? What's the point? So anyway, I'll continue. It says here, Israel states that they have nearly 50% of the population jabbed. And let's face it, because of the high number, they have now implemented the green badge passport. And it says here, a number of other facilities are now able to reopen, including gyms, hotels, and synagogues. However, they require a green passport, a certificate that can only be obtained once you have been vaccinated. It says here the passport, which is contained in an app, is issued by the health ministry and will be valid for 6 months, 1 week after the second dose. So you can tell from that last statement that the intention is for you in Israel to now get a jab every 6 months, so that your passport will not be invalidated and will allow you to continue to go into these places. And the British press are talking about this and saying, yes, look at this is great. Look at all these people who have their passports and are now allowed to go to the gym. And the zombies, are they looking at this and thinking to themselves, yeah, I'll do that? I hope not. However, what's not said in many of these reports, but it does say here in the Irish Times, is that even though all of these jabs have been given, it says here, the coronavirus is still spreading rapidly in Israel. However, and restrictions on movement and assembly have remained in place since the government imposed a countrywide lockdown in late December. Those who have had the jab are still expected to wear masks, and even though shopping centres, museums, etc. have reopened, restrictions on the number of people in attendance remain in place. And the government has said that restrictions will remain in place until more people get the jab. Over in Ireland, it seems the natives are getting restless. There's been a big backlash against the government over the last couple of days, pretty much since they casually announced through a tabloid newspaper that they were extending lockdown by 9 weeks. Stephen Donnelly, the Irish version of Matt Hancock, has had a security fence now set up outside his home. It says here a security fence has been set up outside Minister for Health Stephen Donnelly's home due to security concerns over a number of incidents. It says the Irish Examiner reported that a 6-foot, 2-metre wooden fence has been built outside Mr. Donnelly's home after a number of incidents, including items being thrown out windows and left on the doorstep. And just looking around social media and the responses to recent Irish news, it does seem this 9-week lockdown extension announcement has riled up a lot of people in Ireland. Yesterday I shared a video of an Irishman venting his frustrations at the 9-week lockdown extension, and it seems to have truly hit a chord with people in Ireland. And here we are a couple of days later, and we see security fences are being put up. It's not surprising, as the way that they announced that 9-week lockdown through a tabloid showed utter contempt for the people of Ireland. As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to hugotalks.com. It's the only place where I get to keep the subscribers. If I get cancelled on YouTube, I lose all the subscribers. So if you're going to subscribe, come and subscribe at hugotalks.com, and I will see you later.